What's up, YouTubists? Welcome back to Gold Stake Gaming. Last night on stream, I was absolutely humiliated. I had the best, most amazing Black Deck Gold Stake win of all time. Not of all time, but it was a very nice win. I thought it was a great run, and then I immediately went to Abandoned Deck. We do things a little out of order because on Twitch I have a redeem with Twitch channel points, which you get by watching, where you can just say, hey, I want you to play this deck during your Gold Stake win streak stream. So we immediately went to Abandoned Deck, and I lost Ante 2 to presumably a bad top deck. But today I'm going to replay the seed and see if it actually was a bad top deck, or if there's maybe something that I could do better. This is a seed if you want to copy it. I could maybe have it in the description or in a pinned comment or something. But this is the seed that we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing it on the Abandoned Deck. Let's go Gold Stake. Per usual, I appreciate you for watching, and I hope you are having an absolutely spectacular day. Chat, rate your day on a scale of 1 to 10 in the comments. I would love to hear about your day. Now on the Abandoned Deck. So what are we doing round 1? Well, the Abandoned Deck has no face cards. So I have little evidence, albeit tangible evidence, to back this up. I did a thing on my phone where I played like 20 games of just round 1 Abandoned Deck. And just based off of vibes, I wanted to see if the flush or the full house was the more probable hand to win round 1. And I believe it ended up being full house. Now here we have a full house in our opening hand. 3s and 5s. I don't know if this is 3s full of 5s or 5s full of 3s. I don't know the proper terminology. Somebody also introduced me to that nomenclature in the comments. But we have 3s and 5s. This doesn't win. This is too low of ranks. Your base chip value for full house is 40. And with a multiplier 4, you want your full house ranks to add up to 35. Well, this adds up to 10, and this adds up to not 25. So this doesn't win. So I'm going to keep the pair of 5s. We'll go for the full house. On the top deck, we get 2 10s, 3 5s. This is the perfect full house to win round 1. So let's ship it. We get 75 times 4, which is 300 points. I think, like I said, you should always go for the full house on Abandoned Deck. I could be mistaken, though. I'm not entirely certain. The first shop presents us with a Perishable Scholar and 2 Buffoon packs. The first time I played the seed, ripped a Buffoon pack, so I'm going to do that again. Buffoon pack yields Rental Chaos and Perishable Drunkard. Well, Perishable Drunkard is kind of cool on the Abandoned Deck because it allows us to see vastly more of our deck. And also on the Abandoned Deck, we have 8 hand size, so on any given round, we're going to have 32 cards in our deck. With 4 hands, 3 discards, we can see, what, 30 cards before we have to play a final hand. So with the Drunkard, we can pretty much see our entire deck. We whiff 2 cards, but we can pretty much see our entire deck. If this was maybe like later in the game where we have established that we want to be playing, you know, 3 oak or even 4 oak or something like that, maybe this Drunkard means more to me. Right now, it kind of doesn't mean anything to me. 5 card hands are like, it's not tangible scoring for Ante 1, and 5 card hands are already like incredibly consistent on the Abandoned Deck. So this doesn't really mean anything to me. And then Chaos, we can take it and just use it as a one-time free roll in this shop, with the caveat that if it doesn't generate a $4 scoring Joker that we can buy in the next reroll, then this kind of loses all value. Realistically, you could maybe take the Chaos. You are losing money on it because it's a rental. Well, you're losing money on it. You're not losing value on it, right? Because the reroll, it saves you $5 and then you're paying $3. But regardless, I think it's still pretty bad for the early game. The play that I made instead of opening the second Buffoon pack was I took the Perishable Drunkard and then I sold it and picked up the Scholar. I don't want to risk the other Buffoon pack. If I risk the other Buffoon pack, there is a chance that there's something in here that's maybe better than the Perishable Scholar, but there's also a chance that there's just nothing in here. And if that happens, unless I pop like a rare from this pack and make back my $4 investment, then I can't buy the Scholar. The Scholar is the bird in the hand as opposed to the potential 2 in the bush, so to speak. So let's go next. We can try for a 2 pair or maybe even a full house. Aces and 3s. We don't get the full house, but the 2 pair with Scholar wins anyway, so that's fine. $7. The next shop has Eternal Smiley Face. Well, we don't have any faces, so that means nothing to me. It's also Eternal Smiley Face is not an Eternal that I would be incredibly stoked about taking when I already have a Molt piece. In general on any other deck, but on Abandoned deck especially, it's not a take. I think you could take the Priestess here. It's $3, so you're not losing interest cap. I elected to not take it just because I think the Scholar is consistent enough. I think if you take the Priestess here, you're not wrong. It kind of depends on what the Priestess yields. But I'm trying to play things essentially the exact same as I played them last night. So this shop I just skipped. I said I want to keep my $8 so that I can have more interest money. Let's go next. I don't actually remember what I did in this boss blind. I think I got out in 2 hands, though. So maybe let's go for... Okay, no, I played the 4 Oak and the 4 Oak wins. That's what I did. I played the 4 Oak because I thought it would lose by a small margin since one card was debuffed, but it actually won by 30 points. Next shop has Shoot the Moon, To the Moon. Well, To the Moon is pretty good econ for right now. It pays for itself essentially right away, so I don't mind that at all. Also, a grabber voucher that I really want. Could take a Celestial pack for a planet level of some kind. Shoot the Moon I already don't like in the gold stake. I think it's... Shoot the Moon's kind of like a Bloodstone problem for me. It's consistent scoring until it's not. It's very easy to whiff, especially when we don't have... I mean, obviously on Abandoned deck we don't take because we don't have queens. But assuming we're on any other deck, we pretty much only need 1 queen for this to be worth. But it's just far too easy to bottom deck queens is the issue. You only need this to bottom deck queen. Like, it's not a statistically likely thing to happen for you to bottom deck all of your queens, even on an unfixed deck. But the problem that I have with Shoot the Moon is that you only need it to happen once, and then you just lose the entire run if Shoot the Moon is where the bulk of your score is coming from. And it's kind of the same thing with Bloodstone. Like, Bloodstone in a vacuum is pretty good scoring. The expected value off of Bloodstone is like 2 to 3 triggers, which is like a ×2. It's kind of like a photo, barring retriggers. It's kind of like a better photo, barring retriggers. But you only need the Bloodstone to not proc on you like 1 time for it to just end your run, right? It's kind of why I don't like Bloodstone for the Jold stake, but here we're on Abandoned deck, so that doesn't really matter. I can't take Shoot the Moon anyway. I do end up taking To the Moon because, like I said, it is just good econ for where we're at this point in the game. And then let's go next. The Scholar is still pretty consistent score to get us out of any would-be pickles for right now. Let's go for the aces and 5s. I could go for aces and 9s now. Maybe I do that. Don't get the aces, I do get the 9s. I actually don't remember what I did in this blind. I don't think it's going to end up mattering that much unless I bottom deck aces. I get 3 Oak 2s. Okay, so maybe it will end up mattering. Maybe I should have just done a flush. Okay, here I get 2 pair, aces and 8s. I think this gets me out. This should be about 1,000 points. Yeah, okay. Probably I lost some money there. That's fine. In this shop, yeah, I did lose some money here because I had 18 bucks in this shop. So probably last blind, I was supposed to play a flush into something else. That's okay. In this shop, there is a Venus card that I ended up taking. And then I just go next. Okay, here is where things go south. I say, okay, with the Scholar, probably we're going to need some 5-card hands anyway, unless we get like insane ace value. We don't have any aces in the top deck, so I just shipped the straight. And the straight is like 200 points. Yeah, just above 200 points. Now we have aces, 9s. Here, I did a head calc that was very wrong, and I assumed this to be not a reasonable amount of score to win. I was going for 3 Oak aces here, and I'm not going to go through the full sequence because I went through it last night. If we discard for 3 Oak aces and use all of our hands for 3 Oak aces, if we cycle all 20 cards that we are allowed to, we don't hit the 2 aces. We bottom deck these 2 aces in the bottom 7 cards of our deck. So 3 Oak aces, even though it wins automatically with the extra 3 Oak level, that's actually not the play that we want to do in retrospect. So this 2 pair aces and 9s gets about 1,000 points. And then we needed some kind of other like 5-card hand to get us out. I was just going to point out we left 8, 7, 6 in our hand. So we do have a pretty good line for a straight. And I think with the extra points from our other straight, this should win. Calculated. Okay. That was the proper play. Don't know why I went for the 3 Oak. I guess because that could have won in one hand, more money. But this was always the more stable line. So let's get out. Let's go next. We have perishable business card. Well, again, we don't have any faces. So there's really no point in taking that. We have a rental Jolden Joker. I don't love this because we have To the Moon. So even though, okay, at base value, we get $4 out of the Jolden Joker, and then the rental takes $3 away. That is a profit of $1. Well, the rental fee can actually make us go below interest cap in theory. If I take it here, it is making us go below interest cap, because if I take it here, I'm going to be spending $1 on it. We're going to be going to $22, and then the rental fee will charge us down to $19, and that actually makes our To the Moon worse. So at that point, we're not even breaking even. Like on rental Jolden Joker, if you lose $3, that causes you to go below an interest cap. Well, you're getting minus $1 from interest, so you're actually breaking even because you're making 4, losing 4. Here, we're actually losing money with it because we have the To the Moon. To the Moon wants us to stay above the interest cap, and we can't have that happen with the Jolden Joker, so I think we don't take this. I am not super fond of where my scoring is right now, so I think there's 2 lines that I could take. One is go for the grabber voucher, and the other is open one or both of the celestial packs. The celestial packs are gambles as to getting something that we want. I think 3 Oak is a build that shines on the abandoned deck because it's much easier to fix a thinner deck, as well as the fact that it's just much easier to see 3 Oaks on a deck that is missing 3 of the ranks. Like 3 Oak levels are what we're looking for. I think the grabber is just better though, especially on the smaller deck size of abandoned deck. The grabber voucher lets us see more of the cards in our deck, which is just more effective. I could do both here, but that renders me kind of broke, and our scoring is not too bad unless the house, like bottom decks, like unless we draw like all of our aces to house here, and I'm like throwing some away on accident. That's like the only way that we probably get punished in terms of score. Presumably these are hearts. That could be a heart. That could also be a heart. Presumably these are both hearts, so we could maybe have 4 to a hearts flush. Let's ship it, see if this is ace high. It is not ace high. Okay, we do have the hearts flush. I guess they could have been spades. That was maybe kind of a bad play. But we get the hearts flush anyway. In theory, we didn't discard any aces, right? Because we discarded from the lower end, and then everything from the higher end we just saw, and there were no aces. So in theory, we still have mucho aces to work with. I think here we go for... Okay, this is where I need to do some calcs real quick. If we go for 3 Oak aces, how many points does that score me? 3 Oak aces is 50 chips from the base level. That gets to 83 chips with the chips from aces. And then Scholar makes that 143 chips. 143 chips times 12... plus 5, so it's 143 times 17. That's not 2,000 points, I don't think, unless I'm just an idiot, which is entirely possible. I'm just going to calc it on my phone. 143 times 17. That is 2,000 points. It's 2,400 points. I'm stupid. So I have 1 discard and 2 hands here. I can see 15 cards from my deck. So provided we don't bottom deck 2 aces in the bottom 3 cards, we can get out with a 3 Oak here. So probably I just do that. Let's maybe... Well, if the 3 Oak gets us out... I guess if we're shipping high cards anyway, maybe we should ship the 2 pair, because that's more points than shipping just like a bummy high card. Let's ship the 2 pair here. It's not going to be that many points, but it is going to be points. So this is looking bad, maybe. I have a straight. Okay, there's 2 aces. There's a full house. I feel like this might win with 655 points. If this wins, I'm just going to ship it. There's no reason to look for another ace, right? This is 40 chips plus 22 chips plus 40 chips from the Scholar. That's 102 chips. And then the Molt is times 12. This is 1,224 points. It's actually a bit more than that because I didn't count the chips from the 3s, but regardless, I think this is not enough to get us out. Unless I'm missing Molt, which I am not. So probably we just go for the 3 Oak Aces. And we get the 4 Oak Aces. That's beautiful. Ship it. That's 4,000 points. Okay, Scholar perishes, so we need some form of supplemental scoring. I guess I'll sell the Scholar, because I wouldn't mind seeing him again. We get Eternal Egg, Eternal Delayed Grat. Both of these are kind of not good. And by kind of not good, I mean, like, pretty terrible, actually. We could take a reroll here for like a Molt Joker of some kind. Probably that's the best avenue of play. There's also the Celestial Pack for planet levels. I think planet levels are not going to save me from Small Blind being 3,200 points unless I get like exactly a 4 Oak level into like 2 4 Oaks, and even then we might still be dead. We could go Mega Arcana pack, and then there's either like a Judgment angle or a money for rerolls angle. Let's do it. Okay, so we got neither in here. This gives us lucky cards. This gives us glass cards. This gives us death cards. I could glass something and then death it, and then maybe glass makes this more consistent for us to get out of. I feel like maybe still it's not the most consistent thing in the world, but it helps. This also begs the question, what rank do we want to play out of these? If I were to make something glass here and death it, what rank would I want it to be? Maybe aces, just because aces don't get any support. So we could make a glass ace and then death it just to be kind of silly. Let's do it. Let's take a reroll. We get the Scholar back. This time he's stickerless. So I guess we're playing aces. Let's go next. We have a full house here, but it's not really doing anything for our score. I think probably we just go for 3 Oak Aces every time. Let's discard. We have 4 Oak 10s. That's fine. The draws are looking kind of shaky, but notably I just have to bottom deck if I cycle... Excuse me, God. If I cycle 5 every time I play a hand, I just have to not bottom deck for a 3 Oak 2 Aces in the bottom 2. Which I think is impossible because of the amount of aces we have left. I could be tripping. Maybe I'm just making that up. No, because if we bottom decked 2 aces, then we would have 2 aces still. We would be able to play a 3 Oak. I think the only way we die here is if we bottom deck all of our glass aces. And even then, maybe we're fine. We do have to cycle all of our hands, though, which is a bit unfortunate. Okay, we get all of our aces, and we do get a glass ace. Do we want to maybe pivot 4 of a kind? I feel like with Grabber Voucher, that's probably not the worst play. Notably with 3 Oak, if I ship this and it wins, we don't have to risk our glass breaking, which if we're playing aces is maybe the route, so to speak. This is like 2,000 points, right? We counted this earlier. This is 50 plus 60 plus 33 in terms of chips times 17. This is 2,400 points. So this 3 Oak should win unassisted. Well, assisted by the Scholar, but you catch my drift. Unassisted by glass. 2431, we get out. We are remarkably broke now, but we're still scoring fine, so, like, that's okay. Dagger is okay. I think Dagger, if we were maybe pair maxing at this point, or even 2 pair maxing, is not a bad play here. But if we're intending to play even 3 Oak, I think the scaling just kind of makes Dagger irrelevant. It's not a bad play, but I don't think it's the play that I'm going to be making. excuse me, could take a Zany Joker. If Zany Joker makes my 3-oak more powerful, then I can maybe not be forced to look for my aces every time, which could maybe save me money on hands. Let's take the Zany Joker. Go next. And then we can also sell the To the Moon here. Just because it's going to perish before the end of round cash out, so it's not actually going to add anything to our money. So I could sell it right here. I don't really see the point. If it was rental, I would probably sell it here, but with it just being perishable, I think probably it's better to hold on to just block in the shop. We aren't hitting 3 oaks. That's fun. Just going to bottom deck my aces every time. Okay, we hit a glass ace. I think I'm fine to risk a glass ace for a higher cash out. Put the glass to the right because it's multiplicative. Same philosophy as ordering your jokers. And we do smash the glass. So now we only have the 4 aces that we started with. We'll cash out and then we'll sell the To the Moon. Castle. This is not the worst. With Abandon deck, it's easier to fix towards a specific suit for the castle because the castle is not like Ancient Joker where it just picks a suit at random and it's a 1 in 4 chance. The castle is like maybe Idol or like Malin where it'll pick a card in your deck at random and then we'll say, okay, I landed on you. So you are now going to be the suit that I pick, right? I don't know if that made sense. I kind of spaced out halfway through that explanation, but castle is deck based, so maybe if we have a smaller deck, we have 39 cards since we broke a glass card. Maybe with suit changers it's easier to fix into castle in order to get the chips more consistently. I think probably I just want to work on having more money at this point. I think the castle is maybe not what I'm interested in, especially with Scholar and 3-oak levels being not bad sources of chips. I think the castle probably just gets phased out anyway. Let's go next. The Mouth, we're going to want to play 3 oaks. I think that's the most consistent and most highly point scoring hand, if that makes sense. We have another 3 oak. I can go for the 10s and the 9s, I guess. Ship it. Aces 3 oak is like 2,000 points without glass. Still not at the point where we would dig for aces. Let's ship it. Now the aces win. So I'm going to discard here in hopes that we hit our other ace so that I'm not sacking as much glass, or so at least I'm not like potentially sacking as much glass. Oh, I forgot about the Wily Joker, so we're scoring 4,000 points. So probably I lost some money on that blind. That's okay. We have Hollow Malin. It's perishable, which makes me really sad. But the Malin is kind of disgusting for the Abandon deck. We have less cards. So not only is it easier to fix for the Malin, because again, like the castle, it hits ranks based off of your deck. So if you have a lot of 7s, this will hit 7s disproportionately. But also we can just see more of our deck, so we're getting hits on this even more often. I think this is a beautiful take here. It also supplements our score. A +10 molt is like not insignificant. The Tooth is rough, but the expectation with Malin is that we're going to be kind of rich. Let's take maybe another Buffoon pack, just so we have a little bit more scoring. Could take a banana for Cavendish. Could take a bean. I think bean with no value generators in the deck is probably a bad play as a rental. Let's take a banana and just hope that it breaks immediately. Go next. I think, considering we can see our entire deck minus one card, we can not see one card in our deck because we have 20 cards worth of hand cycling and 10 cards worth of discard cycling. We can see 30 cards in our deck. We are bottom decking one card. But essentially we're seeing like 99% of our deck, right? So realistically, I think we can always get the maximum amount of mail-in value, which for 7s is 20 bucks, right? Let's ship this. How much is just Naked 3 Oak scoring? Naked 3 Oak is just below 3,000 points. I think that's fine. I can discard 10 bucks worth of 7s. I can go for the aces and discard another $5 worth of 7s. Maybe I go for the 2 pair to greed some 7s value. Okay, those are all of our 7s in the deck. So we made 20 bucks, and now we're just looking to get out. I have to not bottom deck. Well, it's impossible for me to bottom deck the aces that win here, so that's okay. And we get all of our aces. I think just plain 3 Oak without the glass, especially with the addition of the banana, is enough to win. Let's ship it. This should be... We saw that this was like 4,000 points without the banana, right? So with the mail-in and the banana, it's 7,000. The banana goes extinct, which is a little worrisome for the near future, but actually sets up our endgame pretty well because presumably with this mail-in, we're going to have a lot of money to be rerolling the shop, which is exponentially more times seeing Cavendish, or more chances to see Cavendish, I guess I should say. Mail-in's on 5s. We have 4 5s, so this is another $20 of expected spending money that we have. So on that note, let's take this hollow misprint just to supplement our score after the banana died. Let's take this Shoot the Moon, and then let's take Overstock just to refresh the shop. Not much here that I'm interested in. I'm going to sell the Shoot the Moon so that we have another $1 of interest. I guess it doesn't really matter with the mail-in, but the Shoot the Moon's not doing anything besides siphoning money anyway. If the expectation with mail-in is that we have $20 flowing in, I can spend 10 more in the shop. I think the standard pack is kind of nice if we get like a blue seal or something. Let's open both of these packs. We get Red Seal Queen and a Red Seal 3. Chat, call me crazy, but I think neither of these are a take. The Red Seal Queen doesn't do anything for us unless we like strength it. In which case, maybe it can be pretty good. But then we need, like, this requires too much deck fixing, I think. And relatively the same for the 3. I think maybe if these had an enhancement or an addition, I would take them. But I think I skip here. I might be on the crack pipe for that take, but that's okay. Take a Venus card, level, go next. And then, like I said, the expectation with mail-in is that we're making 20 bucks in this next blind. So we're going to be back up at interest cap, even though we spent, like, extremely aggressively in that shop. Let's go for the pair of 7s first. Or the 2 pair, 7s and 3s. My bad, I can't read. Okay, I have a good 5s discard. Discard 10 bucks. I can ship the 9s into the 3s for 3 Oak. What is Naked 3 Oak without Scholar? 4,600 points. That's a pretty good score. The 3 Oak level is better than 4 Oak right now. So we'll ship the 3 Oak. We'll ship the pair. Man, we bottom deck 2 5s. That's actually really tragic. So we're missing $10, which is maybe an argument for not spending so aggressively. We also bottom decked our only other non-glass ace. So to get out here, we do have to risk the glass, which is unfortunate. Okay. I mean, worst case scenario, Scholar's not necessarily like an end game strat, so to speak. So like worst case scenario, if the glass breaks, I'm not that upset about it, but it would be a little frustrating for the short term. Fool generates Venus. I think Venus Devil is a perfectly fine play here. Let's do it. Let's go. Maybe with the Scholar, we don't want to be shipping ace. Maybe we do build around aces. Let's just make a gold ace. Why not? What's our boss, by the way? Tooth. I remember that. Okay. Let's grab all of this value go next. Mail-in lands on 5s again. I really want this standard pack just because blue seals. I'm so horny for my blue seals in gold stake, but I think that is probably throwing. Realistically, we're losing a lot of money here if we ship thing. Okay, well, never mind. I was gonna say if we ship 5 for like mail-in value, realistically that is an investment that we lose money on, but lucky for me, the game's got my back. Probably we're still going below interest cap because of the tooth, because I need to find my aces to like win here. That's okay. Let's go 3 oak 9. Was 7s a good 3 oak angle there? No, we've whiffed all of our 7s. 6s. We have 1 of, 3s we have 2 of. So we actually should have kept the 3 for another potential 3 oak there. That's fine. Let's make lucky cards and then let's just get out. I'll risk the glass. That's fine. Let me greed for the gold card. Give me a money hit as well. That would be huge. Molt hit is also kind of cool. Don't break my glass. Many thanks. Wily Joker gets debuffed. I think that's fine. We'll block with him, and then let's sell. Perishable rental list on 3 oak is pretty sick. Halvesies is a lot of score, but it doesn't allow us to see as much of our deck, which I think is cringe. Let's go Buffoon. We have the Chad. So probably at this point, we're just building around Scholar and just making, like, glass cards. So now we're looking for econ generators and tarot card generators so that we can deck fix. Because probably now we're just playing 3 oak aces for, like, the whole game. Maybe 4 oak aces if we can find a blue seal in the very near future. I can cycle a high card. Okay, we have 2 2s. Let's discard for 10 bucks. Let's... Does this win? There's no way this wins, even with Chad. I guess maybe if we get, like, money trigger, that's... Or not money trigger, molt trigger. Let's discard for the 5 bucks here, because it's unlikely that, it's unlikely that we're going to hit everything that we want to here if we're trying to score into to-do list. I think we score too fast. Also, we just don't want to be cycling a bunch of cards since we already have 3 oaks in hand. Let's re-trigger the lucky cards. I could just get out if I want to risk the glass here. I think with Chad, we probably don't risk the glass. I think we don't need to play it right now. Do we have 7s in the deck? We don't have 7s in the deck, and we don't have 10s in the deck. So this is our 3 oak angle on the backswing. Money trigger. Money trigger. Damn! Okay, chatting aces was 15 grand. That's not too bad. Maybe I should have played the glass. Probably I should have played the glass. What was I looking for 3 oak? We have 2 9s, so that's a 3 oak angle. We have no 7s. We have no aces. Two 5s, no 4s, no 2s. 1 6. So all of these are potential 3 oak angles. I think we toss the 5, look for 9s and 6s, and then if we... So we ended up risking the glass here anyway, so actually just playing the glass would have been immensely more efficient, but that's okay. Playing the glass loses us $3 because of list. That's how we could look at it, chat. That's how I could justify the madness. List I'm completely fine with keeping on board. List costs us $3, but it just generated us... I don't remember how much, but it was either 12 bucks or 8 bucks. So either way, it's money positive. Polychrome popcorn. Well, this is always perishable, so probably we don't take it. If it was just regular polychrome, probably with a Chad build, I would just take it over misprint here. Because plus mults on Chad builds always end up as kind of meaningless. But it's perishable, so like this is dying. Realistically, before it ends up mattering. Let's go into the Mega Arcana packs. Still don't have any money options from our tarot cards. Here, we could death an ace and then, like, make a steal card. Maybe. We could use hearts and then death an eights. Death an eights. Death an ace. And then we could go for, like, flush 5, potentially. Probably that's not happening. I think probably the safest avenue here is 3 oak still. Let's go with the steal death angle. Let's maybe steal, like, a 5. Could also just do priestess. Maybe we priestess. No, steal is far more impactful when we have Chad Scholar. Let's steal a 5, and then let's death a gold ace. That seems reasonable. Burnt Joker. That's not too shabby, methinks. We also have a hallucination now. I said we needed tarot generators. The mail-in is about to perish. It's still 20 bucks right now, though, so I think I wouldn't get rid of it here. The Burnt Joker is pretty good, I'm not going to lie. I feel like our odds of top-decking a 3 oak are maybe not the greatest in the world, but fairly reasonable, I would venture to say. I kind of want both of these. To-do list is a lot of money right now as well. I think let's take the hallucination. I think let's take the celestial pack. Hallucination does not yield anything. I kind of want to... I mean, we have Chad Glass, right? So realistically, we can get out of the misprint here and be fine. I think we get out of the misprint and we take the Burnt Joker. I think this is a reasonable play. Okay, we have a 3 oak in the opener, but it is discarding our glass, which is a little rough. Let's maybe disregard that value. Let's retrigger an ace high, and then we can go for a 3 oak down the road, like a better 3 oak down the road. God, I can't talk. Money trigger, pretty please. Damn. I'm being exceedingly greedy, but that's okay. Okay, now we have a 3 oak that we can discard to Burnt Joker, and we can get $5 off a mail-in. Let's do it. We don't have any more mail-in value, nor do we have a 3 oak, so I'll just ship a bummy pair. That's fine. We have $5 of mail-in value, and the winning 3 oak of aces. Let's just do it. I'm assuming this wins. I don't actually know if this wins. So maybe it's unreasonable to expect that it does. Also, we don't have a single 3 oak angle in our hand. Because we have no more 3s in the deck. I would say that it's fairly reasonable to assume that a ×8 from Glass Chad, along with some Scholar Molt, along with high base level 3 oak, I would say it's reasonable to assume that this wins. Let's see precisely how many points it gives us. That would... I didn't see. How many points do we have before that? I'm just going to say that it was like 50 grand. Shouldn't have blocked the mail-in. That was like the biggest whiff of all time. I was too caught up with trying to gauge my score. That's okay. Square Joker, probably not a thing with Burnt Joker. Let's take you to Tarot Block. I can take one more reroll. Eternal Chaos is maybe an angle. I don't think it's, dare I say, the greatest angle, but it's an angle. Okay, so this is maybe something that I should have considered before going the full Scholar route. Aces are just impossible to strength into on the Abandoned deck because we don't have any faces, right? So the best angle for strengthening things is to strength 4 times. 10s into jacks, jacks into queens, queens into kings, kings into aces, which that's just like not happening. Again, maybe I should have paid attention more to that before going down the route of aces, but now I'm kind of committed. I guess I could pivot into something else here. It would have to be like 10s though, because that's like the only other thing that I could strength towards. I could strength 10s and 5s and then pivot that way. I kind of want to make the Scholar work, even though I think that's maybe an unreasonable expectation. Let's Fool for the Venus card. Let's sell the Hierophant, and then let's Emperor. We get Tower Hierophant. Probably I sell the Hierophant Rip this guy. Hallucination procs. We get a Justice card. Cool. We get another Strength Avenue. Maybe with this Strength being on 9s, I pivot 9s here. I could also pivot 7s, and either of those are, like, fine. I have a Justice card, so having Glass Aces doesn't really matter anymore, maybe. Maybe I pivot into 9s just so that Strength is more efficient. Let's do it. Go next. Monoclay is probably going to cock block me from Burnt Joker value. That's okay, presumably. Monoclay is actually pretty rough here, I'm not going to lie. If we're strengthening 9s, we can probably make this guy into a rock and not feel bad about it, because there's, like, no way that we're strengthening a 10 into a 9. And the only other value it serves me is as, like, a death target. I think probably on Monoclay, if I go too far into getting Burnt Joker value, probably I just die. Let's make you into a rock. Let's ship a high card. I guess we could do this and then just go for 9s. Let's do that. Okay. If we're going for 9s anyway, then I can actually discard this. And it's reasonable. Well, we can't bottom deck 9s, right? If we cycle full 5. So let's just cycle full 5 here. We'll upgrade my 3 oak. We get a 3 oak here. Now, if we want to keep the steel in hand, we can't cycle full 5, which I think is fine. 4 9s in the deck. It's pretty, even if we're cycling only 4 at a time, it's pretty unreasonable for us to bottom deck all of those 9s. Okay, and we get another 9. Let's Justice this guy. And then let's ship the 3 oak. In the event that this doesn't win, do we have a 3 oak angle in hand? The answer is no. We would need exactly more 9s. We would need exactly all of our 9s in order to assemble another 3 oak angle here. But I think with the steel, we'll be fine. We end up breaking our glass. That's unfortunate. But with the steel, we are fine. Okay. Glumbus is definitely an avenue. With the Hanging Chad especially. I think we could probably take that and be fine. Let's take him. He's a good boy. We'll open some packs to see if we can get some econ from the hallucination, but I think we are taking Glumbus here. I think that's a reasonable play. Let's open you. We get a Priestess. We have a Venus card in this pack, so I can pop the Priestess in the pack, and that guarantees 2 planets that are not a Venus card. And now I can open this pack, and I'm blocking these 2, which gives me a higher chance of a Venus card in this pack. The question is, do I want to sell one of these for a potential tarot card? And I think the answer is probably yes. Okay, so notably we could have had a Venus card, but we still technically do, so like it kind of ends up not mattering. Let's skip to keep Venus in our Fool. Let's go for a Glumbus angle. And then I can Fool for Venus. That seems fine. Go next. The Ox is unfortunate. Probably that makes me spend down in the shop before it, which is, I mean, that sucks, but like it's probably fine. Should have retriggered the stone. I don't think it matters that much, but optimal plays are optimal. Let's go here. Trying to get Burnt Joker value. My only glass card is an ace right now as well, so probably I don't want to be discarding aces if I can help it. Just because the glass is like pretty much my only solid chance at victory. Yeah, so if I discard the 3 oak aces, I can't draw another 3 oak, which I think just loses me the game. Let's do this. Let's do this. I don't end up drawing my other ace. I bottom deck my one lucky ace, my one other lucky ace, I should say, in the bottom. God. In the bottom 2 cards. But I do draw my steal. My question here is, can I win by retriggering the ace of the lucky ace for Glumbus value? And I think my answer is no. I think even with the steel card in hand, that is somewhat of an unreasonable expectation. Let's calc it, shall we? We have 250 chips plus 100 chips from the Scholar plus 55 from the Aces. That's 405 chips. And then the Molt, assuming no Lucky Procs, because if we have Lucky Procs, then it kind of doesn't matter. Assuming no Lucky Procs, we would have 25 Molt plus 12 from the Scholar. That would be times 2 from the Glass, plus 4 from the Scholar, plus 4 from the Scholar. That would be 82 Molt times 1.5 because the Steel triggers after all of that. That's 123 times 405. That's 50,000 points. So unless I fucked up the calculations, if we get incredibly unlucky and we don't get a Molt trigger, triggering this 3 times, then we just die. So we should always be retriggering the Glass. We don't get a Molt trigger out of this because the Glumbus stays at ×1 for Joker display. That's fine. With the Glass, we can get out of this entire ante. So we just want our Glass to not break, pretty please. Cartomancer is something. Is it better than Hallucination? Maybe. Let's pop the standard pack. Probably the Arcana pack I should have popped first. Let's skip you. Let's sell you. Let's pop the Arcana pack. Can hope for money. We do end up getting money. Let's go Money Hermit. Let's go Glass. Should I just go Glass Ace Death? No, I want to be deathing lucky aces for the Glumbus, right? I think we just go full aces now and we just accept the fact that strength is going to do fuck all. I think that's a fine route to take. Let's just make a Glass 9, since we have more 9s in the deck than any other rank, aside from aces. Let's make a Glass 9 as like a quote-unquote fail-safe, and then let's dupe a lucky ace. That seems fine. I can take Wasteful here. I think Hallucination has the chance to give us more tarot cards, but Cartomancer is maybe just more consistent tarot cards. Let's take the Cartomancer. And I can go next. Cartomancer yields Chariot. That's pretty sick. Burnt Joker, we can discard a 3-oak here. Level that John up. Should have retriggered the stone again, but it's not gonna matter enough for me to care. I do have 3 more aces in the deck, and we are at the point now where if I cycle 5 every time, I can see my whole deck. I bottom deck 0 things if I cycle 3 at a time. So I think here, it's pretty reasonable. We'll send an ace or a 10 off because we have the Glass 9. We'll try and go for 9s instead of 10s, even though we have 2 10s here. I think it's fairly reasonable to assume that we hit the 2 3-oak aces. So let's maybe do this to try and get some Glumbus value. We actually don't get any lucky triggers here, so we get no Glumbus value. That's actually so sad. Okay, now we have to look for our Glass to win. So let's discard y'all. I get the Glass 9. Here I can discard very briefly to see if I get the, or very like, I guess liberally, to see if I can get the lucky card. Because if we got the lucky card here, I would ship it just as a high card to trigger the Glumbus potentially. That doesn't end up happening. So I'm going to use this Chariot just because with the build that we're rocking, steel cards are very nice, so I don't want to block the Chariot in the shop. And then let's ship the Glass. With no Scholar value, but also 2 steals instead of 1 steal, this should be a good amount of points. Yeah, okay. That is indeed a good amount of points. Boss says if I play a 3 of a kind, my money gets set to 0. I don't think there is a singular avenue here where I can dodge playing a 3 of a kind unless I miraculously unlock Flush 5 and also ship like 2 Glass cards. So I think the reasonable play to make here is probably just to spend down. So let's start with the packs. The blue seal is not a rank that I want to play towards, but it is a blue seal. This does screw up my deck fixing a little bit because this makes it possible to bottom deck a singular card, but I think the opportunity cost, so to speak. Oh wait, no, I have Wasteful, so even I can actually add 5 cards to my deck and be fine. Yo, I'm stupid. Okay, so we're just taking the blue seal. Never mind. Disregard everything that I just said. I am, as we refer to in the Balatro community, a fuckwit. Let's go one more reroll. Flashcard, it's a bit late. Sixth Sense could be kind of fire. Probably I don't want to rotate out of anything for that. Let's take the Celestial pack. We'll take the Mars level. We get a Lover's card from Cartomancer. Pretty ass. Pretty ass. NGL, NGL, FRFR. Going for 9s and aces again. I can play the straight just because it's funny. Ideally, we get our glass as well as some steel. Now I think I'm foregoing the Burnt Joker value. We could do this, and this way I can get some Glumbus value potentially, and also save my glass, and also be cycling. Because 1 3 oak wins if we get steel. Let's do this. Still no Glumbus value. That's phenomenal. I have all of my steel. So let's level up high card and just look for a singular other 9. This 9 sets my money to 0, but does get me out of the blind with 2 steel cards. I have discards remaining, so I can search for the blue seal. Does the 4 oak get me out? There's literally no shot. It's 27 base molt as opposed to 10. No, I'm not even gonna like calc the 4 oak. I don't get the blue seal, but I do get an ace, a lucky ace high, which I can ship for Glumbus value. This time we finally get Glumbus value. It's going to be a money hit because it's going to be ripped from my grasp anyway. Fuck this video game. I literally knew it. I literally knew it. Okay. It's fine. We have 2 steals and we're retriggering glass. We did hit our blue seal. And we get Glumbus value. Like, we're not losing all of the value from that lucky hit because Glumbus is giving us X molt now, which is actually pretty important. So let's ship this. This gets us out, but it does cost us $27, which is tragic. We need 1 more lucky trigger, and then Glumbus is essentially the equivalent of another steel card, which maybe doesn't sound like that much in the grand scheme of Glumbus, but like that is fairly impactful. We get the Mark as our anti-7 boss. That means literally nothing because we have not a single face card in the entire deck. Let's go next. Cartomancer yields Hierophant. That's pretty not good. Let's ship the pair. I can try and discard like a 3 oak and then maybe ship. I can discard this 3 oak and then I can ship the glass 3 oak. Let's do it. The glass aces 3 oak, I guess I should have specified. I still have a glass ace, right? Yeah, okay, I just had a stroke. My bad, my bad. I do want to keep the steel. I guess I'll ship $6 worth of lucky cards. Actually, how many aces do I have? I still have 2 aces in the deck. Maybe I do this for more Glumbus molt and for lucky triggers. I feel like that's fairly reasonable. I'm still shipping 5 at a time, so I can see the glass ace if I do this, guaranteed. Let's do this. We get 2 lucky hits. 1 is molt, and 1 is money. That's fantastic. Okay, now we're getting to a point where we could reasonably win without glass, which is like, that's what we want, right? In fact, we can trigger... We still have to risk the glass here, but since we have 2 steals and Glumbus is a ×2 effectively, we can ship the lucky card and try and snowball with the Glumbus because the glass we don't need to retrigger to win here. We don't end up getting any lucky triggers, but that's fine. This still wins. especially with 2 steel, and we get a blue seal. Okay. We're in a pretty good spot. That money trigger was like very nice because that gets me back to immediate interest cap. We have Cavendish, which is pretty fire. It is perishable, but the perishable actually perfectly doesn't matter here. This will perish right after the finisher boss. So maybe we get out of Scholar for this. I think that's reasonable. The only realm that's a bad play is if we hit the 1 in 1,000 that this gets destroyed, and if that happens, then just whatever. We'd probably still win off of that because at that point probably Glumbus is pretty good score. Could take this red seal 8. We're playing 9s anyway, so I could reasonably strength this, and just red steel is really good for the build that we're playing. On trigger Molt interacts really well with steel cards. We don't end up hitting the Venus, which is pretty sad. I'm going to skip here on the off chance that Cartomancer gives me a Fool because I have the Hermit in my Fool. We have the blue seal on the top deck. I think trying to keep that in our hand is somewhat unreasonable, especially when I can just exchange that blue seal for a Burnt Joker level on the top deck. So let's just do that immediately. I have all my steel in hand, which is kind of awkward because I would like to be cycling all the cards that I can. I guess it's not the biggest steal in the world. This probably just wins with red steel. So let's just do this. No Glumbus value. Tragic. Yeah, okay. 13 bucks. I have a Campfire. Campfire is honestly probably better than Cavendish. Okay, there's still some people who argue with me about the effectiveness of Campfire. So just to make a point, this is probably strictly worse than this Cavendish at this point because I don't have that much money coming in, but just to make a point, I might take this Campfire. Let's do it. Let's sell both of you. Let's buy you, sell you. Let's take the Arcana pack in case there's money in here. There is money. The Hermit is more money. Let's buy the Venus level. And then let's take both of these and just hold them. Actually, I don't need to hold you because I have a Cartomancer. The dice here is also very funny with Glumbus. Maybe I should have taken the dice for the fun value. You know what? I have to prove a point with the Campfire. The Mark is a genuine nothing burger. So that's huge. I can Death a Glass Ace. And then I can actually just discard this. We still have the Glass 9, right? Yeah, we still have the Glass 9, so I can actually just discard this for the Burnt Joker level, and that's fine. Ideally, we get the blue seal. Probably I'm using the blue seal as Campfire value instead of, like, actual blue seal value. Let's ship this. We get a Molt hit for Glumbus. Fire. I could just ship the 3-Oak blue seal. That seems kind of cringe, especially since that probably doesn't win. I mean, we have a ×2 Campfire that might just win. I think I'm still going to go for the 9s. Maybe I just get rid of the steel. We get money from the ace. I have one more 6. I kind of just want to ship this, man. We're only getting X Molt off of the Glumbus and the Campfire, but, like, it's a lot of Molt. I guess we also have the steel as well. It's pretty reasonable to assume that we draw the Glass 7, and even if we don't draw the Glass 7, it's then pretty reasonable that we draw the red steel 8 instead. Let's just keep going for this 3-Oak. I guess I should have shipped a 9 there. That was throwing. All right, let's just ship this. If this doesn't win, I fucked myself, but that's fine. No, now I'm too far gone. Now I just have to go for the red steel or the glass. Shipping this is pointless when I have a hand left over. I can't make another 3-Oak, so I might as well just look for shit. We don't hit the red steel or the glass. I might have just greeted myself to death. Probably I did. Let's see. Yep. Yep. Should have just played the glass. Okay. To be fair, yeah, the campfire play was questionable. That's not what killed me there. I just greeted way too hard for the glass 9. We did bottom deck it in the bottom 4. But we could see our whole deck if I was cycling. If I was full cycling here, and I didn't need to keep steel in hand because we would have been chatting glass. So I fucked this up on my own accord. But that was way further than we made it last night, and that could have been a 1 run if I didn't just like sell there for no reason at the bottom of the 9th, so to speak. So hopefully that redeemed myself. I mean, I guess I kind of didn't redeem myself because I fucked up the run, but like regardless, you get it. Anyway, tune into the streams. We're probably going to be playing Gold Stake tonight, so if this video is entertaining or educational, tune in for the stream tonight, 11 p.m. Central, and there will be more of the same. Aside from that, love you guys. Stay safe, sleep well, and have a good one. Treat others nicely, and that starts with yourself. Peace out. Thank you for watching.